what happens next? Can I go back to verse 4?
Yes.
Because I think there's a really important command in verse 4 that they're told not to leave Jerusalem but to wait for what the Father has promised.
Waiting.
I quite like waiting because it means that you don't have to do anything for a while.
Yeah, and the anticipation can grow.
Yes. But also so can the fear.
Yes. And the doubt.
Yes, and the questioning.
Mm.
And it's quite hard to wait with other people because they might get a bit stroppy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just spent all this time being really holy and praying whilst they were waiting. You never know. Okay.
And obviously, they had the discussion whilst eating. It's really important that
Food.
has to be there. Yes.
Yeah. But that's really important altogether in the scriptures, isn't it? That so much of what happens around food, happens around meals, happens around feasting and eating together. And I suppose with the communion we follow that, but also when we have cake.
Which is an important part of
it should be like a
Methodism.
law. That's quiche.
Yes, of course.
Verse 7 is hard. I don't quite like verse 7 because again, it's about not knowing, isn't it? It's not for you to know when things are going to happen, what the timings are. It's not for us to know what the seasons are, because God has appointed those things, and it's his choice and power and authority. In some ways that's quite nice because that's about surrendering to the power of God, and there's a nice sense of not having that responsibility, but there's also loss of control, which is quite hard if you want to.
Yeah. And I think it's quite natural to question when something's going to happen.
Or why is it happening too fast? Yeah. Or yeah. So they're having to wait, and they're not allowed to know what the timings will be, but they do know that they're going to be filled with power, and they're going to have that Holy Spirit experience about receiving from God.
To the ends of the earth sounds also quite daunting.
Why?
Because it just seems like a very long way.
Yeah, but also it means that when Jesus was standing wherever they are in Jerusalem, and he's talking about the very ends of the earth, then that's us here.
It is, yeah.
It
It skips quite, Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the whole earth. It's like saying Bingley, West Yorkshire, the earth.
The universe, the galaxy. Yeah, it is a bit. I guess maybe they could only see, that was as far as their experience extended. Yeah. And then there was the rest of the world where there'd be dragons. And for us, that's exciting because that means that Jesus was including us.
Yeah.
All time and all space, including Bingley and Keighley and Airedale.
Yes. And so you could change that to and also Bingley. And
also with you.
Yes.
I like that. I found that really encouraging because it means that nowhere is left out. Nowhere is excluded. And so wherever anybody is, then that receiving of power and that ability to be witnesses applies to everybody and all of us wherever we are. My version says the very bounds of the earth, which means nowhere is out of bounds, which is quite nice, isn't it?
That's quite nice.